How's it going, guys? Cody back again, dropping yet another video. Someone commented on my last video saying you said guys 3 times in 3 minutes. For those that have been with me for a long time and stuff, I always use the same intro. Hi guys, Cody guys, back again guys, dropping yet another video guys, right? People, when I came away from it, people said they was going to unsubscribe, right? So I sort of stuck to it. The fact that this one person doesn't like it, simple, unsubscribe from my channel. Thought it's it from an arsehole anyway, genuinely, I genuinely would fart. Anyway, guys, moving on from that. As you can see from the title of the vlog, this is a story coming out of the Daily Mail, reference prisoners carrying out attacks on prison officers to try and reduce their debts behind bars, right? Now, the headline reads, inmates are carrying out violent attacks on prison officers to pay off huge drug debts racked up behind bars. I'll put a link in the description below, guys, as always, so you guys can read it. Convicts who owe as much as £5,000 to jail kingpins agree to assault staff in an attempt to reduce the debt. Under an unofficial tariff system, the more brutal the violence meted out by the criminal, the bigger the chunk of debt that is cleared. Prison officers have been slashed, stabbed, bottled, severely beaten or scarred, said unions. Inmates are carrying out violent attacks on prison officers to pay off huge drug debts racked up behind bars, a damning report has revealed. Convicts who owe as much as £5,000 to jail kingpins agree to assault staff in an attempt to reduce their debt. Under an unofficial tariff system, the more brutal the violence meted out by the criminal, the bigger the chunk of debt that is cleared. I'm not repeating myself, guys. There's like bullet points that they make, and then they repeat it a bit further down. So that's why that is. Prison officers are being slashed, stabbed, bottled, severely beaten or scarred by having boiling water hurled in their faces, said unions. The sickening practice revealed in Her Majesty's Prison and Probation Service's annual report is further evidence of the scale of the crisis engulfing prisons in England and Wales. Some inmates are smoking as much as £800 of spice a day, forcing them to find ways to pay off the debts, right? £800 is a lot of spice. Like, you've got to think what on the street level it can go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times that, depending on supply and demand in prison. But £800 worth of spice a day to one prisoner that's not a true. It's not true in my opinion. These people, when they're smoking the spice and stuff, right? Some build a tolerance up it because they've been smoking it for so long. Others, it just comatoses them and they fall into what they call catatonic states, where they just sat there dribbling on themselves and stuff. There's loads of videos down my timeline. You'll see what I mean. I've referenced spice. In other cases, a new prisoner will be told that the cell that they've just been placed into has a debt left by the previous inmate that needs to be paid. Latest figures show that last year the number of assaults on staff rose by 23% to a record 8,429, the equivalent of 1 an hour. Serious violence against officers was up 10% to 864. Spice has been blamed for driving record levels of violence in prisons and generating huge profits for gangs who smuggle in the drugs. The report said, we are aware some prisoners are trying to pay off drug debts by assaulting staff. This is in addition to the violence generally associated with illicit drug dealing and from some users when under the influence. Debt is a key driver of violence. Glyn Travis of the Prison Officers Association, or the POA, said the prisoner who is owed money will go to the prisoner who owes it to him. No, the prisoner who's owed the money will go to the prisoner who owes the money and go to him and say, you go and throw a pot of urine over a prison officer or assault him and we will write off the debt. We are aware of male staff who have been seriously assaulted and in some cases have had to have treatment in hospital. He said the union had raised the issue with the prison service chief, Michael Spur, and demanded action. The Ministry of Justice said it had bought 5,600 body-worn cameras to help protect staff and was working with the police and Crown Prosecution Services to prosecute prisoners who assault officers. The prison service said the best way to keep safe is to keep drugs out of prison. Firstly, let's get into it. Number one, they're going on about debts in prison, right, which is fueling attacks on officers. Not just attacks on officers, guys. We're seeing record numbers of assaults year on year between prisoners, from prisoner to prisoner, and from prisoner to prison officer. The one thing that doesn't get, they don't do statistics for, is the attacks by prison officers on prisoners. according to the system, that doesn't happen. Absolute bullshit, right? The Prison Officers Association, right, I did an interview with the national chair of the POA, a guy called Mark Furhurst. If you look down my timeline and stuff, there was an interview that we did on BBC Radio Wales together. Now, debts within prison. This makes reference to drug debts. Now, it's a very one-sided story. They should have had a counter-argument, but they didn't. The Daily Mail have gone through what the Prison Officers Association have said and thought, right, that's a fact. What the POA have left out, guys, the smoking ban. Now, the smoking ban was lobbied by the Prison Officers Association. Some dickhead on a chicken chaser with the exhaust cut off, thinking he's a fucking bad man, prick. If I had my hairdryer would sound like that, you know what I'm saying? Like fools. Right, anyway, guys, yeah. So the Prison Officers Association, they lobbied for the smoking ban. The smoking ban is in full force now. 100% of prisons are smoke-free. But they're not, are they? Because that's absolutely rubbish. So what the Prison Officers Association threatened was to ban industrial action and also take them to court and stuff to get this. They rushed to get the smoking ban brought in, the POA. Right? Tobacco in prison is a stress reliever. It's also used as currency. Right? By banning it, in my opinion, they were trying to poke a sleeping dog. Right? Because it's just another thing to wind prisoners up. They were going on about smoke-free environments for staff and stuff, right? A lot of staff smoke. And also it says at the end of that article, oh, to keep drugs out of prison. Well, simple. Stop having corrupt officers bring it in then. There's not a month goes by or a week goes by where prisons aren't in the paper for one bad reason or another. Anyway, going back to the smoking ban, guys. Sorry, I jumped ahead of myself there. The smoking ban, the POA lobbied for it, right? And then it come into force, knowing that they'd see an increase in violence, right? Which it has seen an increase in violence, right? Debts are not just through drugs, though, are they? It's through tobacco now, because tobacco, by being banned and being outlawed and not being sold in prisons, what does it become? It becomes contraband. Contraband then get pushed under the ground. What happens if it gets pushed underground? The prices go up. Right? I've heard £300 for an ounce, right? £300 for an ounce. I've heard, first it was £100, then I heard 150, 200, 250. So I've heard people paying up to £300 for an ounce, depending on supply and demand. If you're the only person with a tobacco on the wing, you can charge a premium because obviously other prisoners will pay it. If there's loads of people on the wing selling it, you've got to bring your price down in accordance, because otherwise people will undercut you and stuff like that, and then people that want the tobacco for the spliff or for the spice, whatever, they'll go to them. So that's how that works. But by pushing contraband underground, it saw an increase in violence. Where you've got contraband, so drugs, spice, like new psychoactive substances like spice and tobacco, right? You've got debt. Where you've got debt, you've got fear, intimidation, bullying, and violence, right? So the smoking ban has seen an increase in violence within prisons, right? It's still in prisons and stuff. You've just got to pay more for it. So the prison officers don't get, unless they're smuggling it in and stuff, but the prisoners that are getting it in, they're making a lot of money and stuff because they're getting it smuggled in and stuff. It's coming in every which way, drones over the wall, the fucking putting it up the prison pocket, anal cavity, anus, arse, whatever you want to call it. When they're getting sent to prison and stuff, they're smuggling it, they're fucking wrapping it and they're fucking sticking it up the prison pocket, taking it to prison, shitting it out and breaking it down into deals. Prison officers are bringing it in, it's coming over on visits, coming in over the wall, it's coming in fucking drones, all these different ways it comes in, right? But it makes the people that get it in very, very rich. So the Prison Officers Association would have known that by banning tobacco in prison, one, it's going to see an increase in violence. They've used that increase in violence, by the way, with this article here. It said there, towards the end, right, he said that the union had raised the issue with the prison service chief, Michael Spur, and demanded action, right? What the Prison Officers Association have tried to do, they've tried to annoy and try to antagonise prisoners, right? Who have already got it hard in prison because prison's a very unforgiving place. It's incurred debt, which has then seen an increase in violence. The Prison Officers Association, they've used that violence then. They've currently got, right, in certain prisons, they've got COSHs, extendable police batons, right? They've got Parva spray or like CS spray. It's known as Parva spray, right? It's the equivalent of CS gas, right? So they've got CS gas in prisons now that's been piloted in 4 prisons. They've got Koshis that are coming into prisons, right? They just want to be armed to the teeth and stuff. The national chair of the Prison Officers Association, when I did an interview with him a few months ago, I said to him, you want to bring taser in. He wants officers to have tasers, guys, right? Violence will be met by violence and stuff, because the prisoners, eventually, they'll all stand up together. The prison service, the prisoners could take over the prison system like that, but they're demoralised and they're just getting on with the jail and stuff, right? But you do get, there's a lot of violence within prisons, but prisoners don't stand as one. Like I say, everyone's just getting ready into the jail and stuff. Some people might be close to getting out. And good order, I don't know how good order's kept, because it could go off in a heartbeat and the prisoners could take the prison system. The prison system, something needs to happen, because they're just coming down on prisoners. Like I say with the POA, they're antagonising prisoners by bringing the smoking ban is in force. It is in force, but it's incurred debt, and then it's seen an increase in violence. They lobbied for it. So if you ask for a problem, if you ask for something and then you get it implicated, it comes in, and then there's a problem, and then your officers are getting attacked, right? You shouldn't really be moaning, should you really? Because you lobbied for it, didn't you? Be careful what you wish for. Right? Now, yes, there are drug debts that are racked up in prison. The reason that officers are attacked, right, by prisoners, right, if you're the drug dealer within the prison, boredom's a big thing within prison, right? So you've got a loose cannon there that's addicted to tobacco or spice or whatever the drug that you're selling to the kid, right? You're bored, or you might have had a run-in with this certain officer. You don't want to get arrested. You don't want to get a nick-in, right? And a nick-in in prison is called an adjudication, right? So what do? You've got this spice head that's addicted to the drug, right? That'd steal from his own mother to get it, right? That'll lie, tell you he's going to pay you when he's not got no money, just to get the drug because his body's telling him that to do, right? He's then in a position, the prisoner that owes the drug money, right? He's in a position, he owes the money to the dealer. The dealer's getting pissed off. Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? So he can then get the prisoner attacked by another prisoner by offering him a ball of spice or whatever the drug may be, or tobacco or whatever, right? Or he says to the user, tell you what, that screw over there, he did me wrong, he spoke to me like I was a dickhead, right? Go and pot him. Potting is where you piss and shit in either a cup or a bowl or something. It could be piss, it could be shit, it could be piss and shit. It's called potting. Right? Go and throw a bowl of piss or shit on association in his face, right? And I'll take off, I don't know, £200 of your debt, £50 of your debt, all of your debt, whatever the case may be. And it's to get your own back on the officers. Now, I don't condone attacks on officers. There's a lot of good officers in the prison system. Her Majesty's Prison Service officers, their screws are bastards, and I've got nothing good to say about H&P screws. But when I went to Forest Banks, the Dexo screws were bang on, spot on. Apart from 1 or 2 that were Jobsworth cunts, right? The 95% of the officers at Forest Bank were spot on. Strangeways, 1 or 2, the rest of them were arseholes. Anyway, so that's why the officer gets attacked. So the officer might have twisted the dealer up, or the dealer might just be bored and think, the wing's boring, there's nothing going on, right? Listen, you go and pot him, you go and fucking slash him, and I'll take off some money off your debt. And it goes on. And it doesn't just got attacks on prison officers from prisoners. Like I say, you don't want to get nicked yourself. So this guy owes you a load of money. So you're thinking, well, I can get my own back and cause a bit of a ruckus on the wing. He's going to get twisted up. It's going to be a laugh. Fuck it. For the sake of a few £100, right, go and do it. And the kid is in fear because he owes the money. So he's like, well, I'm either going to get attacked by another prisoner that the drug dealer pays, or I go and fucking get some extra time added to my sentence by potting or napalming. Napalm is sugar and hot water congealed. You throw it, it becomes like a starchy, like a solution. Throw it in somebody's face. The hot water sticks and the sugar like pulls the skin from the face. It's called napalming in prison. Anyone that's been in prison will know that. Prison's a very violent place, very paranoid place, very like a vortex going round of just paranoia, frustration, anger, mental health, just boredom as well. And like I say, prisoners start to play up and stuff. So you can get your own back on a prison officer by telling the inmate to go and pot that person, slash him, napalm him, attack him. Right? And like it says there, it's done on a tariff system where the higher the, like if you go up and say give someone a slap or like throw something at him from a distance, or then you go up and slash him, obviously slashing him is better than a slap because it's a more ruthless punishment, it's a more ruthless attack. So the higher the worse the attack, the higher the money that comes off your debt. Now, like I say, in prison, you don't want debts hanging over your head, because you're going to end up getting smashed up by the prisoners, or you're going to, like I say, or you got to attack the officers. You're in a really bad catch-22. And the drug dealer sits back and just laughs and just thinks, he's got people eating out of his hands and stuff, because it won't be one person that's in his debt. It'll be several people that are in his debt. And debts do go on in prison. But like I say, the Prison Officers Association lobbied for the smoking ban on top of the drug ban. And like I say, it just pushes it underground, incurs debt. Where you've got debt, where you've got contraband, you've got debt. Where you've got debt, you've got bullying, intimidation, fear and violence. And that's the reality, guys. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it there and stuff. The POA are self-serving. They only want to look after their own members and stuff. They're not interested in prisoners, sorry. They want to be given tactical use of taser, so that they can put a red dot on a prisoner's chest, and then if he doesn't comply, they can tase him and drag him down the seg. That's the way prisons are going to go. And violence will meet violence, because prisoners will eventually stand up and stuff. It's going to go off. It's not if, it's simply when. I genuinely believe that the prison system will explode. And then that's the only time that reform will come. Because currently, the state of prisons, people are dying on the Ministry of Justice's watch. Squalid conditions, treatment regime, mental health and stuff. Prisons are very unforgiving, ruthless places. And it's only going to get worse, guys. And they're building more prisons, which is going to take the prison population up to 93,000. More prisons, more prisoners, more problems, more death, misery, suicides, despair, assaults and self-harm. Truth. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll put a link in the description below. Cody out.